Hey you guys, it's Braid. Tonight we're here with a reaction style video. This is a doozy. Rod Blanchard, who is Gypsy Rose's father, decided to join a live stream of a creator that goes by Ivory Rose, and her @ is Ivory Rose Knows, which is kind of interesting. Gypsy Rose, Ivory Rose, whatever. But we're going to go through her live streams that were recorded, or the clips of the live stream. So we have a whole lot to get through. If you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so let's start out with kind of what kicked all of this off, and that is Rod Blanchard took to his own TikTok account to clear the air, address speculations, talk about rumors that were going around about him leaving the home, him being separated from his wife, who is Gypsy Rose's stepmother, Christy Blanchard, aka Miss Homewrecker herself. And he decided to make a TikTok and confront those rumors. He had some stuff to say. I'll drop it right here for context. Hey guys, before I play that TikTok, I wanted to drop in here that Rod's audio is horrendous, especially during the beginning part of this video. So you might just have to adjust the volume and then drop it back down. But I tried to clean it up and it's just, it still sounds bad to me. So here we go.
Some of the rumors that's going around about a big fight at our house between Christy and Gypsy. Also that I left Christy, been staying in a hotel for a week. So none of that stuff is true. I'm home, I've been home. I've never left Christy. I don't intend to leave her. I love her, I think she's great. She's been supportive of Gypsy from day one, throughout. And, you know, after Katrina, they were relocated, so we didn't know where they were. Christy spent months online reaching out to people, seeing if they knew anything about them, and she finally did find them. So in a lot of cases, Christy's done more than I have regarding Gypsy's support and her well-being. So yeah, she's made some mistakes. I have plenty big mistakes. We all have, I believe. You know, even Gypsy, you know, she's still making mistakes. Nobody expects any of us to be perfect, but you know, we're trying to build a family again now, and hopefully progress from here and learn from my mistakes. So just wanted to get that out there. Gypsy's here now. Her kid's doing fine. I think she's still pregnant, pretty sure. Also, about the rumors about her and Ken, you know, just want to throw a joke in there. I don't think Ken would touch Christy with a 10-foot pole. Hi, Gypsy. Good morning. Clean your room. Love you. Anyway, so yeah, all good at the Blanchard. Good on point. Later.
What started with that TikTok that I just played ended up progressing into him joining this live stream of Ivory. And we're going to go through it. Fancy from the Good Wives Network also decides to have a conversation with Rod. It is a lot to get through. I'm going to try to clean it up just a little bit, but before I babble for, you know, another 5 minutes, let's start with this, and credit goes to Hello Starlight, who recorded this, and yeah, let's start with this.
I appreciate everything you say.
You don't think that's, I mean, what I'm saying is the truth, don't you agree?
Not all of it. I don't think.
So you think, I mean, I get your family's pissed off by the comments, but you're all over the place. Don't you think that if she for 1 second took her life and was a little private, people then don't have a right to speak? But you give us the right to speak when you flash yourselves all over, and then you get upset when people speak.
I'm just trying to defend the information that's false out there.
But if it's false, then why are you defending it? I'm sure there's plenty of rumors out there about you and your family, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. The one that
so
just
then why does this one bother you so bad? I mean, there's rumors about her sleeping with her grandpappy in a bathtub. Defend that one, but nobody defends that. Why?
And I agree with Ivory. Once you decide to become a public figure, I said this for literal years on my channel, if you're a public figure and you're collecting the benefits off of people watching your content, buying your products, putting stuff out for people to consume. Like, you're a public figure. Not everybody is going to like you. I don't know how many times I have to say that. I understood that within my first month on YouTube. My channel was tiny. My videos would get 20 views per day max. If I got 20 views, that was like an awesome day. And even back then, I was putting content out. Not everybody liked it. The start of my channel, I'm sure most, or not most, but I'm sure a lot of y'all know, I was doing a lot of beauty content. And even if my video got 20 views, I would still see people coming in my comments and disagreeing with me, saying that I'm stupid, saying I don't know what I'm talking about, telling me to stop making content, you're an idiot. That started way back then. And I, you know, technically, yes, I was a public figure because I was putting out public content. But how is it that somebody that literally orchestrated the murder of their mother doesn't understand that? And her father doesn't understand that. And his wife doesn't understand that. I like Rod to a certain degree, but he says some things in this live that really make me question him and kind of pull back some of that support that I had for him, because it is so obvious that I said in another video, he's a pushover. He's a yes man, and he will do anything that Christy and Gypsy tell him to. And I think it's kind of unfortunate to watch all of this play out publicly, but it is. And people are allowed to say, hey, I like this. Hey, I don't like this. Hey, I can't stand you. I have no respect for you. It comes with the territory. So I like Rod, but y'all will hear it later in this video. He says some stuff that really, in my opinion, it exposes kind of what this entire family is after, and that is money. But let's keep going.
Why does this one bother you so much?
I haven't heard the one about a rat or whatever.
I'm just saying, why does this story bother you so much? There's so many stories out there.
Well, this one about my wife and I, for one, and my residents. Cops never came to my house. Christy, I'm not here with Christy.
Okay.
Say hi. So, you know, I'm just going out there. Y'all can bully us all y'all want and say all y'all want, all the opinions. I'm just trying to make sure that when someone does say something, if I know for sure that it's not true, I have no problem feeling like I have a right to come out and say that. And I mean, I'll comment on guys and people's stuff here and there when like this is completely not true. I'll comment.
So you absolutely have the right to comment. No one is saying you don't. But you see, my whole thing is, why is this the one thing that you are trying so hard to push away? Do you see how that doesn't make sense? Like you said, people are out there making rumors about you all the time. Why is this bothering you so much?
I want to interrupt right here. I'm going to say something that's very obvious, and y'all already know how I feel about this. Not liking somebody does not automatically qualify as bullying them. Not having respect for somebody does not mean that you're bullying them. I hate the way that bullying is thrown away so freely on social media. As soon as someone doesn't like you and says, I don't like you, you're being bullied. Can we mature just a little bit past the, oh, so-and-so doesn't like me and I'm being bullied? I know what bullying looks like on social media. And while I disagree with people, you know, running wild with a bunch of conspiracies that have nothing to back them up, for the most part, it's just people saying Gypsy Rose should not be put on a pedestal because she literally brainwashed and manipulated Nicholas Godejohn to carry out the unaliving of her mother.
We do have a good friend of ours, Bree, which she's close to the Gypsy and Christy. I met her at Jazz Fest. I mean,
right. I know Bree.
She tries to, I mean, she goes to battle for Gypsy. She tries to provide receipts and you know, provide good information. So a lot of the things I don't comment on have already been discussed in a previous documentary or interview that we've done. So I mean, that I'm hearing that from people that...
Bree does go to battle for Gypsy, and she looks cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs while doing it. I don't understand what the real connection is. Like, is she friends with the Blanchards because there's some sort of exchange happening behind the scenes that we don't know about? Bree, the arguments that Bree has come out with to defend Gypsy is just as delirious as Rod saying that they're being bullied.
Obviously haven't done their research enough. So that's all out there. That can be,
Yeah, but Rod, don't you think that your daughter should be out of the spotlight after everything that's going on, though? You're the one. You're the one who said that. You said that yourself. You said that Gypsy.
And on top of Bree going to bat for Gypsy and looking a little cuckoo, she's also told Gypsy to lie to her parole officer. So is Bree doing that on purpose? Does she want to see Gypsy fail? Is she not being paid enough by the Blanchard family to stand in line? I'm not sure what's going on, but eventually Bree will also be on the other side, because we have seen how Gypsy Rose and her family interact with people. Everybody is a pawn until they are no longer useful, and then they are written off.
That she should get out of the spotlight and stuff and just settle down. Like, why are you still letting her just get around here and doing all that?
Well, look, Gypsy's a grown woman. I have no control of her. I tried to give her good advice. I told her I thought it was a great idea that she get out of prison and kind of fade in. I don't care if she gets a job at McDonald's or whatever. We're going to be here supporting her with or without me. We're always going to be here for her. I wasn't always here for her. I made a lot of mistakes. I believed a lot of crap Dee did to her and said to me about her. I try to defend.
It seems like nobody has control of Gypsy. And it seems like she is just a wrecking ball out here, literally doing what she wants, hurting people, unaliving parents, going to prison for a short period of time, coming out, playing the victim, saying that she's being bullied, grifting, being dishonest, trashing her marriage. And eventually all of that is going to come back around for her. I truly don't think that Gypsy understands that you reap what you sow. Maybe that is the one lesson that she really needs to learn, and maybe she needs to learn it quickly before more people are hurt by her own actions.
My wife Christy has been there, yes, more than me, many times. I was a terrible father. I had a lot on my plate. I had kids with Christy, Dee Dee, somebody else. I spent 75% of my life offshore on a boat trying to provide for these families. So, yeah, I wasn't there. I missed a lot of doing Mia's birthdays. I missed a lot on everything. I really just was scared. Really, from 17 years old, I had 2 girls pregnant. I ran.
So at 17, he had 2 girls pregnant. Who are the 2 girls? Can someone elaborate? Drop it in the comments. Christy is also benefiting financially off of Gypsy. So do you not think that while Gypsy was in prison, Christy was not sitting on her couch looking at all of this attention that she was still getting from behind bars? And you don't think that she was sitting there thinking, maybe, just maybe, we can capitalize on this, and if I have a good relationship with Gypsy, then I can be along for the ride too. I hear what he's saying about, I was a bad father, I was, absent, I wasn't there, blah, 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 blah. I think that he does this as almost a way for people to combat the negative with positive. Because if he's saying that, then people are going to be like, oh my God, you don't need to say that. You were tricked by Dee Dee. You were just tricked and you were, shunned away. I have a hard time. I don't know, like something in the back of my mind tells me after watching this live that Rod is not only a pushover, but I also think that he is kind of, along for the ride too. This entire family is eating up the fame, fortune, and success that Gypsy Rose has. I hope that they enjoy it while it's there. because it is fizzling out very, very quickly. Let's go over to this other clip. Something else that this live stream confirmed for me is that Rod is simply just in denial. He's in denial about so many aspects of who Gypsy Rose is as a person. And I think that the guilt that he carries from her childhood is being displayed in this manner of just letting her do whatever she wants to do and supporting whatever she does now that she's out of prison and she's residing with them. I personally don't believe that when you get out of prison, if your parole requires you to be earning money and have a job, I don't believe that you should be able to solely make your money on social media. I think that you should have to have a job that, you know, you get a W-2 for, not 1099 income. I think that it should be a little bit more grounded than just allowing somebody to utilize their crime as a way to get famous on the internet, at least during the time that they're on parole. Is that unpopular? Sound off down below.
She did Gypsy, keeping the feeding tube in. After she got out of prison or went to jail, she got arrested, she walked out of the house.
The beginning part of this clip, the audio is really bad. Rod is covering his mic and it sounds like he's, I don't know, walking through the rainforest. It's a little bad, but it does get better, so just bear with me.
She started eating regular food, so, you know, she didn't want the feeding tube. I think Gypsy was abused by Dee Dee. I think Dee Dee was mentally ill and scammed so many people. Her family was rich. She broke them bridges. She moved to New Orleans. She moved to Missouri. Told all the doctors for medical records. So there's a lot of things she had, like sleep apnea. Yeah, she did some sleep apnea test when she was 3 months old. And she did another one.
Rod, I'm not trying to interrupt you. We just can't hear you. I don't know if you're blocking the microphone.
You're covering your mic.
So like at 3 months old, she had. Y'all can hear me now?
We can hear you, yeah.
Yeah, so at 3 months old, she started saying Gypsy had sleep apnea. They did several tests. The results were normal, but that sleep apnea stayed with her. Like that was always listed. So every time she went in for a test or something, that kind of stayed on her record. So, you know, nobody knows exactly what she had. She had a chromosome disorder. Yes, there are some things that can stem from that. Dee Dee told me all of her systems were failing. Her mental, her muscular, digestive. So, I mean, in a wheelchair, I believed all this stuff, okay? We tried to go see him. The week before, we were on vacation in Tennessee. We was going to slip across to Missouri and spend a few days with them. Man, Dee Dee went AWOL. She was gone. We came back home. So, you know, I mean, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying what I know.
I think Rod, in some ways, has kind of compartmentalized a lot of the kind of what the facts are versus what he wants to think in his mind. He kind of still looks at Gypsy and everything that happened as he's seeing her through the lens of a parent looking at their young child, instead of being able to recognize, wow, she was all over social media having relations with multiple grown men, brainwashing Nicholas Godejohn, playing along with Dee Dee in the whole money-making scheme of it all, acting as if she was this little girl and she was literally a grown adult sitting in Disney, eating her royal mashed potatoes, and literally hours later dressing up as Ruby on the internet. And I don't think that he can, I mean, until he recognizes, like, this is actually what happened, you have to take those lenses off of, I'm a parent and I see this as a child that was mistreated. Because we have the full picture now. We have the details. We have her different personalities and different characters that she would dress up as. We have the text between her and Nick. We have her medical records. We realize now, current day, that she wasn't somebody that was put through, 82 surgeries that she didn't need. It was a chromosome issue, not a mother, Dee Dee, signing her up for all of these procedures that she absolutely did not need. I don't think that he's in a position to see the full picture, and that's why we get this version of, I'm going to support her, I'm here for her, I was an absent father, she's trying to rebuild, she has a story to tell. Like, it's almost frustrating to listen to how ignorant, willfully ignorant this man is.
She's a grown woman. She's making these choices. I don't think they're the best choices, but I still love her, and I'm going to support her one way or the other.
I'm going to interrupt you 1 second, Rob, but do you understand why people are upset with her? Like, she's a murderer. It doesn't matter. Any way you look at it, people feel that she manipulated that young man, and it's obvious. You can't say she didn't. And she planned her mother's murder for 2 years. Think about that. And so now you come out and you're making money and dancing yourself in front of the public and throwing yourself out there inappropriately. And then you want to sit.
Now, Rod is obviously very upset by the rumors and the things that are not true. He mentions it multiple times during this live. What I will say is, like I mentioned in the start of the video, I don't agree with people just making up wild rumors and running with it as if it is factual. But at the same time, you cannot control the internet. Do I agree with it? No, because, lies are no fun. Let's focus on the facts and what's really going on. But you're a public figure. And if you don't want people to come up with rumors and gossip and say that they don't like you, and then you call it bullying and all of this victim card nonsense that he, Christy, and Gypsy all do, then you're going to have to call Lifetime and tell them, we don't want to do the show anymore. Because until you cut that show and until Gypsy Rose gets off of social media, it's all public figure vibes. You know what I mean? Let's keep going.
Facts, things that are people are saying that aren't true, that aren't the facts. Like I left Christy. I mean, y'all can talk about Gypsy, the case, all y'all want. But if I see something that I know it's definitely not right, I mean, like I said, I think I have an opinion as well, and I have an obligation to my wife and myself.
Absolutely, you can comment on it.
Y'all can talk about the case all y'all want. Hey, some of the things that Becca Scoops and Fancy and all say, they may have some merit. I don't agree with everything they say.
I will say, I haven't seen a lot of Fancy's content, but I will speak for Becca Scoops. I watched Becca Scoops' videos on Gypsy and Nick and the whole situation, and I thought it was very well done. I felt like it was researched. I felt like it was presented in a digestible manner. So for him to be upset with Becca Scoops, what is the issue? Let's elaborate. If you're going to say, I don't agree with this person, what is it that they said that you can prove was incorrect?
But like I said, a lot of this is alleged. That's their opinions. Fancy
and it's also alleged, Rod, that everything that has been said about you has been alleged too. Like, we haven't said 100%, it has not come out of Ivory's mouth that 100% you were gone, and it hasn't come out of my mouth or anyone else's mouth that 100% you guys are broken up. And she never said that.
Although, if I can give you some advice, it's almost like you guys are confirming things when you come this hard to try and prove it's not. If you guys just let this go under the rug, people would have stopped talking about it. But you guys coming at people just kind of confirms it for people instead of actually doing what you're trying to do.
Well, I mean, my coming on your live and discussing this makes you feel like I'm coming at you. I'm sorry you feel that way.
No, I don't mean that like I feel threatened or anything. I didn't mean it like that. No, I do not feel threatened by you at all.
Okay.
I didn't mean it like that.
No, I'm threatened by misinformation. That's all I'm threatened by. I mean, you can say I'm a bad father or all y'all want. I mean, I was. I completely agree with that. You know, so.
And
that's why, you know, I made the post today.
If you don't want to be threatened by misinformation, guys, go public. I mean, go private. You can't be threatened by things people have to say while you're dangling your family in front of a camera. I'm just saying that just doesn't go hand in hand. Now, while I understand and respect that you might be offended or upset because that's your family, if you wanted privacy, again, you made yourselves public figures. You put yourself in the camera's eye. So that kind of comes with the territory. I'm just saying.
Rod, I think you're a nice man. I just think that family bamboozled you. Honestly, that's my opinion on you. I think that you're a good man. I just think that they pulled the wool over your eyes, and I honestly feel sorry for you.
At the end of the day, like, I respect the fact that you're trying to defend your wife. I respect the fact that you're trying to defend your family. I will give respect where respect is due. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can defend it, but we can talk it, and you're giving us that privilege to talk about it because you put your family in the spotlight. So that's on you guys. That's not on me. Now, if you were private people and I was going digging at you, I'm totally in the wrong. But the fact that you putting your family out there, that gives us the right to all comment. Like, we can say whatever we want. Doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it not true. But the fact that you're dangling, again, your family in the public eye, look at all famous people. It happens to everybody. It is what it is. You can't.
The final clip that I have for y'all is actually really long. It's like 30 minutes. So I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to splice it in here for context as I go over some of the high points. Tell me if y'all like this better than normal reaction style. Just for time saving sake, I appreciate your all's time. I appreciate my time. And I don't want this video to be over an hour. But during the same live, after this conversation happens, Fancy Maselli joins the chat and is having a direct conversation with Rod. This conversation quickly goes off the rails and Ivory has to shut it down and Fancy steps down.
And 2 CPS workers went out to the home. They spoke to Gypsy. They saw an ID that proved that Gypsy was over the age of 18. Dee Dee provided them with medical records that showed that she did have some of the developmental delays and the actual physical ailments that she had. Gypsy told them that nothing was wrong, and Gypsy did not leave. They gave her the opportunity to leave that day, and she did not. She could have walked out of there with the police that day, and she chose to stay because she wanted to continue in the con, Rod. I'm sorry. The only time she decided it was no longer suiting to her and decided to unalive her mother is when her mom told her she could not be with boys. Men, lots of them, Rod, lots of them.
Dee Dee got her back home, and she was scared.
No,
that was her way.
She didn't have to go home with her, Rod. Why wouldn't she have just... why didn't she call the police that day? They would have come out and verified her ID.
I don't know. I can't answer that. That's a good question.
Exactly. You can't answer that. That's the problem. She had every opportunity to leave and she did not. So I do not believe that abuse is the motivating factor for the reason that she killed your wife. I believe your ex-wife. There is many other reasons that we believe is a motivation for this, sir. Officers in the case said that they were investigating a long financial fraud, and they were very upset that they did not get to take this to trial because they believed they had evidence to prove why this was done, and it had nothing to do with abuse. You and HBO, your wife, Gypsy, all changed that narrative, and you have lied to the public for 9 years. Not you specifically, I don't think, but your wife and your child have. Can you not see the writing on the wall, Rod? She's a very disturbed girl and she needs help.
During their short conversation on this live, Fancy talks about how much Gypsy Rose was fully aware of this money grifting scheme that was going on with Dee Dee. And she was along for the ride until she figured out that Dee Dee was not going to allow her to have relations with multiple different grown men. And it's her opinion that once that happened is when things really started to go downhill quickly, and the plot was built, you know, for Nicholas to carry out what Gypsy Rose wanted done. Fancy also talks about the chromosome disorder and says how, you know, it is risky for Gypsy to be bringing a baby into this world, and you know, she's showing concern, and Rod responds in a really snarky manner to say, "Oh, Fancy, thank you so much." Fancy responds and calls him a head.
You're denying that she has medical conditions. You're denying that it has anything to do, that she has any medical conditions related to the chromosome disorder. And do you understand, for the health of your grandchild, that is rather dangerous?
I don't think Gypsy has any medical condition.
Rod, she has medical conditions. She's taking medications. She has conditions from this, Rod. They're proven in her medical records. What are you talking about?
She got a full checkup when she...
Rod, can I ask you a question? Can you please go to Rare Chromo? Please go to rarechromo.org, type in the microdeletion of the 1Q21.1 that she has, and look at the 11 or 12 page document that they have. If you do so, it lists every single one of Gypsy's conditions throughout her life as being part of this type of disorder, sir. Varying levels of degrees of severity, from no symptoms whatsoever all the way up to a baby being born with severe microcephaly that cannot last outside of the womb for more than a few days. There are serious ramifications, and if you have not done genetic counseling, sir, you're not protecting your grandchildren. You're choosing to be willfully ignorant. Just go get the counseling done, sir. I'm trying to save your grandchild's life.
Oh God, Fancy, thank you so much.
Well, you can be a shithead about it, or you can actually go do the genetic counseling that was recommended to you several times.
She goes on to ask him to go to this website to talk more about the chromosome disorder. He's not prepared for that. She's kind of talking over him a little bit, and that's basically where, you know, things were stopped by Ivory and kind of thrown the flag in. Because it was getting very heated, and Fancy finished out the conversation by saying, "Rod, if you want to have a conversation with me, Christy has my phone number. I would like to talk to you." And that was the end of Fancy kind of going back and forth with Rod. Rod says a lot of the same things. Once Fancy steps down, the stream continues with he and Ivory, and he says a lot of the same things, how, you know, Gypsy is an adult who cannot be controlled. He's going to support her.
I think she has a story to tell. I think she still has support. I think she is progressing, and we're part of that journey with her.
Take yourself out for a little bit, get her therapy, and then let her speak about her story. But we don't see a story. We see TV trash, and you're just getting money off of someone's death, and it looks horrible.
That's not how everyone sees it.
Oh, that's how the majority see it.
Well,
you're right.
Don't you see it that way, Rod?
She doesn't talk about her sickness or her victimization on the show.
Her to come out and be perfect, not make any mistakes.
I expect her to come out, get some therapy, and don't complain when you're going to act like trash on TV, and then complain when people talk about you.
Nobody knows what her story is going to be. Nobody knew she was going to come out.
We just went through a whole season, and what's her story? You're right. So how can you say it's because she has a story and people are watching her? Because she has a story. She hasn't said anything about a story.
Hey, her life is her story right now. Y'all.
It's disgusting.
And I'm going to need you to, seriously, then we need to get her help. If that, her life is the fact that she can't hold a marriage and that Christy's helping her get out of a marriage to have a baby daddy, like, do you understand that's what people see?
And Ivory repeats herself by saying, if you don't want the public scrutiny, then get off, you know, get out of the camera lens, take your family, live a private life, and the public scrutiny would be out of pocket because y'all are living a private life. But there's just no way that Gypsy Rose is going to get off social media. She loved social media before she went to prison. So do you actually think with 10 million followers on TikTok, she would ever make that decision to get off social media? We know it's not going to happen, but she does really drive that home. Rod also mentioned how Gypsy still has support from people, and literally says you know, Lifetime is willing to pay for it.
Gypsy made a mistake by marrying Ryan. She thought she was going to come out and be happy and get over Ken. She didn't. She made a mistake.
So you think that how that all aired out was, I mean, proper conduct? I mean, come on.
No, I don't. I don't think. It
So
was,
then where is her story? Where is the helping others? It was all about her messy relationships.
the story's not over. Story's not over.
He really focuses on basically, oh, well, you know, what did you expect? Did you expect her to come out and be perfect? He really focuses a lot on how her story this, her story that. She's not perfect. She's growing. She's progressing. In my opinion, that is all a load of garbage, because we have seen her continue to be messy, continue to, you know, ruin people's lives just in the short time that she has been out. Rod continues to say how nobody knows her story. Her story is not over. He also claims that she made a mistake by marrying Ryan, and Rod made a mistake by marrying Dee Dee, so they kind of relate in that regard.
Well, I know what it's like to be in love with somebody else. I know what it's like to be in a marriage that you just, it's not there, okay? So it's not right. I agree. I made a mistake getting married to her mom. She made a mistake getting married to Ryan.
And he said, that is the story. People want to see it. Lifetime want to pay money for it.
That's the story. People want to see it. Lifetime want to pay money for it.
Obviously, money is the main motivator here. This is not about advocacy, because there is no advocate work being done on the Lifetime show or on Gypsy Rose's socials. All we have seen is non-stop chaos, mess, and drama. Ivory also mentions how, again, you know, the negative feedback will not end until they get out of the spotlight, which is completely valid. Comes with the territory. Most of us know that. I don't want to repeat it 500 times in one video. But towards the end of him talking, the crime is mentioned again. And Rod claims that he doesn't know if Gypsy was involved in Dee Dee's unaliving, but he was told that Gypsy was in the bathroom during it, and that is what he is choosing to believe.
Well, I just want to know one thing. You know how you just said before that you're coming on to defend this, but everything else you guys say you don't care about. Now, we've been speaking in here a lot about the fact that we have opinions, not fact, but opinions that Gypsy helped with the murder of Dee Dee. And you haven't come in here to defend that, but you're defending this. That's what I don't understand.
Well, I don't have all the information that the prosecutors had, so I can't speak on whether she was there or not. I saw Nick say she was in the bathroom. I heard Gypsy say she was in the bathroom. I heard Nick say he stabbed her 4 times, and then blah blah blah. Then he kept on. So I don't think Gypsy.
So you got to believe what you hear.
My opinion, okay? Y'all can make y'all own opinions on.
So you believe what you hear, and I believe the information that I heard, and so we're all safe to say we're in the same boat.
Okay, yeah.
Because none of us have proof of anything. We're all just believing what we hear.
That's why I haven't come on to say anything about that. That information is out there. A lot of it's opinion based. The prosecutors had the information, and you know I can't defend that because I don't know for sure. You know, Gypsy told me she wasn't there, but I don't have proof of that 100%. So I'm not going to defend that. I'll tell you my opinion. My opinion is she stayed in the bathroom. Nick did what he did, and then they did their thing after, whatever. You know.
Despite the fact that Dee Dee had all of these additional wounds, and Nicholas stating that he only created 4 of them. And that has been a cause of concern for so many of us listening to this situation. Where did those other wounds come from? I think Rod is a full-on enabler. I think that he, as I've said, is a pushover. I believe that Christy put him up to making that TikTok video. And I also think that she was sitting right next to him while he was engaging in this back and forth with Fancy, Ivory, and the few other people that joined in on the conversation. It is never going to get better until this family is out of the spotlight. And I agree with Ivory on that. The one thing that I will say is, if I had any piece of criticism for this live stream, and I don't know if Ivory hosts people often, I don't know if she goes live often, I don't know. But there was a lot of talking over Rod when I wish that he was given the floor to elaborate. Because if the point is to allow him to talk, and listen, when people like this talk, they kind of like dig their own grave, so to speak. But he was talked over so often by other people and not given the space to continue explaining what he was going to try to explain, because people were telling him to guide Gypsy, be a better parent, asking a bunch of questions, talking about dog leashes. It was a little bit chaotic, and I just wish that the talking over him was interfered with a little bit more than it was. To say, you know, allow him to finish, and then we can move on to the next question or statement. But overall, I thought it was a good live. I thought it was interesting. Definitely wasn't expecting Gypsy Rose's father to join in and have this lengthy conversation with multiple parties. But it happened, and a lot of people are talking about it, so I figured, let's extend the conversation. How do y'all feel about this? Do you feel like it hurt them? Them as in the Blanchards? Do you feel like it benefited anyone? I think this was just a really bad look, and I think that it proved that Gypsy Rose is residing with enablers that are going to do whatever she wants them to do, whatever she's instructing them to do, what not to do. She runs the show, and as Rod said, he can't control her. But they are all collecting money while they can. And shame on Lifetime. But either way, I think that's enough for today. So if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Christy, Dee Dee, somebody else. 75% of my life offshore on a boat trying to provide for these families. You know, so yeah, I wasn't there. I missed a lot of Mia's birthdays. I mean, I missed a lot on everything. I really was scared. 17 years old, I had 2 girls pregnant. I ran. I went to get a job on the boat, got my life. The abuse and the cheating.